Hey guys, it's Rob J. Just to let you know that this video is sponsored by Ant Keeping Depot. Oh, it's good to be back. I've took a little bit of a break, and my shiny sugar ants in the meantime have run out of room in their Mercury setup. So what in fact they've actually done is fully filled up their test tube, and then they've gone ahead and burrowed into their substrate, hardening it up. And now they have a network of chambers in this very thin layer of red sand. And they've done this as they need nesting space really badly. So, let's treat them to some new real estate. So, they're currently in the Wakushi Mercury nest, which is a single test tube setup with a outworld on top. And they've been in this since I got them from Antics. If you want to see that video and see the progress they've made since then to now, I'll pop that in the top right hand corner now. So this is down in the test tube, and as you can see, that's a really healthy colony. Really happy with their progress, and that's a healthy pile of broods right there. So they desperately need some new space, and that's where I present you their new setup. So this is a ant space setup, and the nesting module is actually called Ant Formicarium module with moisturizing system. I've actually done a little bit of DIY. I needed to make it go flush with the wall, so I need to take this massive 3D printed brick port off. So I've done that, and then just used the already drilled holes to attach a new piece of acrylic just to seal it up for them, as I only need the one port on the one side. So basically what you just see me do is I've PTFE'd a ring around the test tube so it can be put in here and then they can't run up, and then I've PTFE'd the outworld like anybody would. So this is never going to be a total and free escaping process, not for this sort of thing, but it went totally smoothly. As you can see by the way I've put it and the PTFE that I've pre-prepared, none of them can get out, and the stragglers, as you see, one fell in, the other one was on my hand, and the rest are in the outworld sort of running around. And from the outworld I'll actually just start picking them up. This species doesn't run from your hand, it sort of runs onto your hand. So what I actually did is just touched them with my finger, they ran up it, and then I just nudged them off, as they're really easily falling off your hand. And one of the cool things about this species is they actually produced majors while they were still in the test tube. You'll see one or two dotted around. There is one actually right now on that 3D printed ring at the back. It's a subtle difference in this species, but there is definitely a major cast. There's one just exited the nest. So as you can see, the move is in full swing. Nobody likes the test tube like it was, and what's really good about not tapping them out of the test tube, more making it uncomfortable to stay in, but letting them still walk in and out of the older test tube, is they'll relocate quite quickly into this temporary pile, as you see here. And when you tap them out, you get all of these larger young ants to come out. But what you don't get is all the fresh laid eggs that are designed to stick together and stick to things. And you're never going to get them all out, so you will lose a few. So if you can let the workers actually go and collect all their own young themselves, that's always best. But after the initial removal of all the young, the eggs, the larvae, they will use a temporary pile, and then once they've got an established place where to go, so in this case they found the nest pretty much immediately, and the move was relatively simple. Now you see what I mean about all the different sizes. You see what's left on the floor here, these little white eggs? Now these would have been left in your test tube if we just tapped the ants out forcefully. So I'm not saying there isn't situations where that is actually appropriate. This is always better to do to let them move themselves. You'll see the workers will collect them. Now, these have been fed on a pretty staple diet. Even though they're called sugar ants, they've been getting lots of different things as well as plenty of sugars like any ant really. So they have been having a lot of super juice from wakushi. They've been having a little bit of jelly. They're not a major fan, although there is some interest on initial protein jelly being placed in. But the main focus for these guys is they absolutely love hunting fruit flies. And that's funny because when they first got them, they actually hid from fruit flies. Now they have got the confidence, the numbers, and they are relentless in hunting down the fruit flies. And they make such quick work of it. It's really good to see, but as you see in the test tube, they've got so many young to provide for, and they've got all the sugary goodness that they could possibly want for themselves. And just looking at this nest now, that test tube is really deceptive, don't you think? Now, even though this nest actually looks pretty full at the moment, it's not, because the test tube was actually ceiling and floor full. But just in case, I popped on this little extension. This gives them some nice room for in the meantime, and at the moment they're all spread out, and ants don't generally stay spread out like that. This is because there's a bustle of movement. Once the queen has picked her place, the eggs have been put in the best place humidity wise, you'll find that the ants will compress a lot more, and that nest will grow in size, ready for a good 6 months expansion. After that, I'll see about just adding more modules to the ant space. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this moving to the new nest video, and I'll catch you in my next one.